ever heard the saying, time is money? Tiempo es dinheiro. Let's just say that US culture is very based on the idea that time is money. So what does that mean? It means that there are some values that are very deeply rooted. One, and beliefs. One is that time is very valuable. Another one is that you might be wasting your time, because the third is that time is a scarce resource. For example, being punctual. Being punctual is so important. So when you're meeting people, it doesn't matter whether you're meeting people for a literal meeting or you're going to coffee, to a dinner party, to drinks, even a date, anything. Punctual, you need to be punctual. So if you're meeting someone for drinks or anything and you're going to be a few minutes late, call them, send a text and tell them you're going to be a few minutes late. If it's a dinner party, 7 means 7. And if it's a meeting, if the meeting's set at 9 o'clock, you want to get there at 8:45. Make sure you're early, because then you will save yourself a lot of stress and a lot of uncomfortability that can come with that. Time is money also means that people really value clear timelines and efficiency. So for example, a meeting usually follows a clear agenda. It starts on time and it ends on time. And it doesn't usually start with small talk. So for example, maybe a quick how are you, but not really getting into how's your family, how are your children. It's not that people don't care how your family is or how your children are, or even how you are. They do care, but they're at that meeting because they're there to talk about that topic. So if you start talking about other things, they will see again that as a waste of time, because time is money. So get straight to the point, and it's not that people from the US are being rude. It's just that they want to use their time for what it's set for. Lastly, sales. This is super important, that time is money again. So if you're making a sale, if you're presenting your product, presenting yourself to someone, time is money. People want you to get right to the point. If they're interested in your product, they'll want to hear more. If they're interested in you, they'll want to hear a lot more. But they don't really want you to get into a lot of details if they're not interested, because they don't want to spend or waste their time listening to something that's not inherently valuable for them, if that's not something they're interested in. So think about that. When you're making a sale, or when you're presenting your product or service or yourself in US culture, you want to make sure that you're going right to the point, because people will be much more comfortable and they'll ask you for more information. They'll want to hear more information if that's what they want. But if you go into a lot of details, they may just cut it off right there. So that's a little bit about how time is money. And I know your time is so valuable, and because of that, I thank you for spending your time with me today. And it was such a pleasure to talk with you today, and it's always such a pleasure to talk with you. Much light, much love. All the very best this world has to offer. Ciao, ciao.